Here's the first scrum of the game. Kenny Danico pushes Mark Messier under the chin. And Kenny Danico, you know, used to date Mark Messier's sister. They are good friends, but it shows you the intensity of this rivalry.
Messier around behind, held there by Dubé. Messier back to Leach. Dubé at the front of the net. Brodeur sparring a little bit with him. It's forced back over to Messier. Mark Messier back. Leach's shot. Score! Back on now by Karpatsev. Shoots one that's tipped aside by Brodeur. Dumped along by Dubé. Pinot to the back. Drive. Score! A deflection on the drive by Karpatsev. Tipped into the net, I believe, by Langdon. He was the one skating across the front. And so it is 2-0 in favor of the Rangers.
Times it beautifully. It's a rolling puck. Look at that tip. That is as pretty a tip as you're ever going to see. First of all, the puck's on edge, so Karpatsev has to keep it down, which he does a good job of. And then Langdon going across, tips it up in the top of the corner of the net. And I didn't know that those guys were working as scouts.
Yeah, well, when he was playing in Dayton, he was playing some and fighting a lot in the East Coast League for the Dayton Bombers. It's a good name. And Nick Botillo was working with him there and put in a call to John Davidson and got through, didn't get a busy, which is odd for John.
Yes.
And got through to him, and eventually the word was passed along to management. And they said, well, why not take a chance on the guy?
Wonder if they got a finder's fee. I would expect if the guy makes it, there should be something in it for Nick and John.
Reed Simpson is not in the lineup tonight, and I think Langdon misses him. When Langdon was in Binghamton and Simpson in Albany, they had by one count 8 fights against one another in the American League in 1 year. Wow. And they've had by my count 3 already in the NHL as Rangers and Devils.
Churlis, that type of player, hard-nosed player. And Mark Devliner, people don't realize he's got a real intense streak, and he'll use the stick or his body if he has to defend his situation as well.
Nemchinov on the draw, wins it back. Driver a shot, and that came right back to Driver again. Bruce Driver with a shot. Score! And the Rangers have made it a 3-0 game. Again, it is a blast from near the blue line that finds its way in. The cheering you hear is from the Rangers fans who realize that not only have they struck for 3, but they have chased one of the best goalies for average right now in the league. Up the wing for Mark Messier, watched by Smith. Down to the ice with Jason Smith, tried to hook it along. Boy, Danico came up high with a stick on Messier. There's going to be a penalty coming out. And then Danico knocked down another Ranger and decides to go on top for some more. Boy, he got some lumber into the initial hit that knocked down Langdon. Paul Stewart has seen a lot of this before and has been involved in some of it. See what he says when we come back.
We have a look at some penalties here, and this may have started in the first period. It was Danico and Messier going at it. Danico was given a right to Messier. There he cuffed him one, but coming behind is Langdon, who runs over Danico, and then Kenny just loses it. A bit of a dive there by Langdon here to begin with.
They only had 2 last night. Here's a chance for Ralston. Look! Shoot! Save! Made by Richter! He did the split! Kept alive by the Devils. Here's Randy McKay turning with it. McKay watching as a stick broken out there. No penalty call coming up as Richter forces it around. Waiting is Jason Smith. Smith just hurried it right back around behind. Peterson chopped it on there. Now to McKay, and we have a fight going on. It is Cairns and Peluso. And now Niedermeyer and Churla and Jason Smith. 2 Devils and 1 Ranger. Getting in on that now is Jason Moore. Now everybody's got a man. Well, this is reminiscent of last night in Boston. We had a couple of guys throwing him in different parts of the same zone. Smith coming around with the rights. I believe that is Cairns that he is with. Double check that. Peluso and Cairns are coming off.
It's Moore, Jason Moore, that Jason Smith's going with.
Niedermeyer is on top of Churla. Churla with a right roundhouse while flat on the ice. Smith has not fought often, but he has fought well when challenged. Both these guys are getting pretty tired right now.
They sure are. And how about Scott Niedermeyer, who never, or very seldom fights? He was really upset about what went on.
Even though he'll give up height and weight to some guys, there aren't many guys stronger in clinches like that than Jason Smith.
Seems whoever wins the takedown wins the fight, at least in the fans' eyes.
Well, Paul Stewart, while you're seeing Smith, has given him misconduct to Niedermeyer after ordering him off the ice. It may have been Stewart's decision that Niedermeyer was the third in. Well, this is about midway through it all. And you see 1 and 2, and then if you count Jason Smith, as later you certainly would in his battle that he had with Jay Moore, there were 3 different ones going on at the same time. Devils were attacking behind the net when this one broke out between Eric Cairns and Mike Peluso.
Yeah, it looked like this is all that was going to take place. And then on the other side of the net, all of a sudden, Scott Niedermeyer, Jason Moore, and Jason Smith.
40 yards. Number 29, Eric Cairns, 5 minutes for fighting. Number 22, Shane Turler, 5 for fighting. Number 21, Jay Moore, 5 for fighting, plus a game of misconduct. For the Devils, number 8, Mike Peluso, 5 minutes for fighting. Number 26, Jason Smith, receives 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. And number 27, Scott Niedermeyer, receives 2 minutes instigating, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, 5 minutes for fighting, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct.
Kovalov on back now to Karpatsev. Right back for Alexei Kovalov once more. Eyed up by Danico, dealt it off to Gretzky. Gretzky behind the net. Little pass in front. Kovalov has shot and did not get it home. Reese got a piece of it. Around now to Kovalov once more. Dealt it into Gretzky. Centering pass in front. They score! That is way up and way back. Dubé put it around behind. Pretty good hit on Churla. That was Chambers.
Devils on a power play. Here's the first hit. See, Bert drops it. He doesn't expect Steven to level him like that. As you said, that might be a record that stands for, at least a trivia question that stands for a while. Oh, excuse me, Mike,
It is McLean across to Ralston, and the Devils have finally, on their 44th shot of the game, been able to beat Mike Richter. Sundstrom wins it on back to Bruce Driver. Gretzky looking to the front. Sundstrom there, position in front of Danico. Cross-checked a couple of times down. Gretzky went his off, and Sundstrom scores on a pass from Gretzky. Well, Langdon and Lyle Odine are ready to go. Odine starting with the short right. They're in the wrestling referee's hold. Odine now coming across with the short choppy right. Langdon trying to do some damage. These are guys that have done this a lot. Odine with a right cross, Langdon with one as well. Couple more apiece. Paul Stewart just watching, has not instructed the linesman to get in yet. Langdon tried an uppercut and then a cross. Now it's about at this time with all the tugging and pulling that you start to sense some fatigue, but there's also some adrenaline. Looked like Langdon caught him with a right. A wrestling match. Another right. Looked like he wanted to put him away with the uppercut, but did not. Now the helmet off, and the linesmen are probably close to getting in. They're there.
they'll be calling you the fight doctor after the last couple of games. Mike, you've done a very good job of describing the ones tonight, the ones last night in Boston.
I don't know if that's anything I aspire to, but puck picked up by the Devils, started back out again. Moving on is Breland. And then Leach. Leach ahead, and moving in is Gano. He scores! Gano make it 7 goals in his rookie year. And there may be more from this. Boom and Danico. I was watching the Gano celebration, and I'm not sure what was happening away from it until I looked back to see big 23 in blue and 3 in white tangling. But the Rangers are up by a fistful now, 6-1, with 3:22 left. Well, it got serious. This is not Danico and Boom. Sean Chambers has gotten in as the third, and now it is turning ugly over near the Devils bench. Leach is trying to wrestle, I believe, Bill Guerin away from all of this. Paul Stewart has been watching closely from the Devils bench area. Shane Churla will be going. Bill Guerin will be leaving too. With a 6-1 Ranger advantage. And Bob Arcina is going to have some more penalties to tell the people about here. Danico being ushered off, and he seems to want to really get over to the Rangers bench. Gord Brossiker was able to, I think Gord Brossiker anticipated, so he picked up his stride with Danico, or Danico might have gotten free to the bench.
I think it's Colin Campbell who he's so upset with. Campbell was standing in the front of the bench yelling at Kenny Danico.
Not a pacifist, Campbell. He got involved with the Florida coach, Doug McLean, and then most recently Ted Nolan, coach of Buffalo.
Leach makes a great pass, and Gano looking for the 5-hole all the way, shoots the puck just above the stick and through the legs. And then he's giving it the pump in the celebration. And there's Kenny Danico coming in, and that's how it began. And look at those eyes on Kenny. You might feel that Gano maybe rubbing it in with that little celebration.
Rangers now unbeaten in 3, and temporarily have undisputed possession of the 3rd seed and 2nd overall in the conference behind Florida.